Good morning, friends. Steve Benoon here with Israeli News Live. Those of you that joined us this morning on Fact News Network, we were questioning whether or not there was actually this alleged information that the arrest of people like Biden and Obama had actually took place. Our Israeli intel had actually jumped the gun this morning in that information that shared that with us, which, as I said to you on Fact News Network, even if there was anything to it, we knew that it was all a psyop to begin with. I wanted to get, as I had said to you, I had not been able to confirm that independently as of yet. It was still very early this morning. We were trying to find out what was going on, and I was able to get in touch with some friends there in Washington to see if there was any truth to this story. Especially coming out of the intel folks that I know in Israel they're normally pretty accurate on their information. So I was actually really beginning to believe that that was a possibility. Now, I was told also there was a coup in Iran going on from Israeli intel. That was confirmed. There is an active coup going on in Iran right now. But I also am hearing from this side here, it's not going very well. But at any rate, though, as far as people being rounded up and arrested, that is not the case. That was told to me this morning. No, that did not happen. Although, I've been told that this plan has been in place for a while, that was what they had planned to do, but it did not happen. And now I am being told it will not happen. I was told that as of this morning, President Trump is pretty much allowing the transition to take place. And I did ask because I was very, very concerned, as is my wife. We know that the president had signed the Insurrection Act, or invoked the Insurrection Act, I should say. So we are very concerned ourselves as to how is that going to affect Christians, because with Biden going to come into power, and of course now I am told there's still some little slight possibility that could still change, but for the most part, from what I can hear, President Trump is allowing the transition to go forward. It was told to me, quote unquote, the president doesn't want this to turn into a violent situation. Now, I personally believe that this is the whole reason for this charade. It's been because the globalists that want their new world order need to disarm this nation. But I also realize there has never been a greater time for them to end up with a civil war than right now. And I know that that is a great concern as well from friends that I know, that if there's ever been a great time for a civil war, this is definitely the time that's going to be. And, so this is really, I know that this is going to be a tremendous concern for Christians because of the situation of Biden getting into power, becoming president of the United States. He's already considering all those people that supported Trump as domestic terrorists. And now that Trump has invoked the Insurrection Act, is that going to give Biden that ability now to be able to do the roundups himself, and it be the Christians instead that are being rounded up? This is where the huge concern is. The Christians, patriots, which many patriots are Christians anyway, I think that we have been duped. And, we've tried to warn you of this. I know June Knight has warned of this as well, that this is going to be turned against you, and that it'll be used against you. And that is very much a very realistic possibility right now. There is one outside possibility that Trump would still remain in power. I've been told that I cannot speak about that issue there, so I won't go into that. But I don't see it happening personally. And even if it did, I still don't see him staying into power as a result of this. And, I think that the situation that we are in right now, with knowing now that Biden is going to come in to be president of the United States, is a very alarming situation for the Christian people. And it probably wouldn't be as bad if we don't end up in a civil war in this nation. It has been confirmed, though, that Biden is very much prepared for a civil unrest. He has got with the Chinese to be able to back him to put down any type of civil war that could happen in this nation. And again, that is really, because that's what the Insurrection Act is all about, is to be able to put down any type of insurrection against the government. Look at what the media is saying already. Look at the way the media is portraying what happened in Washington, D.C. As a result of January the 6th. And that's one thing that we were telling you even back then. I told you that January 6th would be a setup, if nothing else. Now, it didn't happen the way I thought. I felt like there'd be a setup, that something would happen at that moment. I wasn't anticipating a rush on the Capitol building, and then them end up turning that against us, or against the people themselves. But that's exactly the way it's playing out instead. And but so just to go back over this, the intel that was coming out of Israel, other than the fact of the coup that is going on in Iran as of right now, the intel where they were saying that they had been they started rounding up people like Pelosi and stuff, was not true. That was not true at all. And I know there are others out there that also believe these things are going to happen. And like we've said, like even this morning, I told you then on Fact News Network, I said, if it is true, it's a psyop. And it still is, to me, in my opinion, it's still a psyop. It's 100% a psyop of what's going on. And it's only going to be used against us. So we'll just have to wait to see now what's going to happen next. But as far as from what I've been told this morning, there will be a smooth transition, and it will go over to Biden. And they say smooth. I don't see anything of this being smooth whatsoever. I would hope that the patriots and the American people, the militias, would not get involved. But if that Insurrection Act being invoked by Trump is able to be used under Biden, that is what's going to cause the problems. Because we've already seen what Biden has said about, like I said, what he's already said about Trump supporters, and that what happened in Washington, D.C. Even though Antifa played a major role in the violence that took place there, that was also confirmed as well this morning. There is no doubt that it's not going to be spun that way. So it's going to be anybody that stood for Trump. So, I wished I had better news for you. We, like we've said to you from the beginning, though, it doesn't matter who becomes president, whether it be Biden or whether it be Trump. At the end of the day, everything is still the same. You still have the depopulation agenda. You still had the warp speed. You should know by the warp speed that, the whole program of doing this warp speed program, that it wasn't for the interest of the American people. We should know that. We should know that when they're trying to enact or celebrating Noah's laws every year in the White House, and that doesn't matter which president it is. It doesn't matter whether it was Trump, Obama, Clinton, Bush, Reagan, Carter, you name it. The agenda is still the same. So, I'm really curious to see what other people are going to be saying. I know there's people, even like Simon Parker, that's been talking about these things coming out. I never knew anything about Simon Parker whatsoever until just the other day when I first brought him up to you. Didn't know anything about his thinking, his thoughts, or anything like that. I know some people were saying, he's got some really crazy ideas out there. I'd gotten that information sent to me, so I was trying to compare notes to see if any of that information was accurate or not. And one thing too, I'll say this when it comes to Iran though, because there is it seems that there was a, what would you call it there, with the coup that is going on in Iran, that we are in a situation there that Israel may be, of course, no doubt Israel's behind the coup. I've had that from Israeli intel for a long time there. They're trying to get a coup to avert actually doing a physical war with Iran. But if that's not going well, we may still end up seeing a war with Iran take place in a very short period of time, because the Israelis know that Biden is not going to go to war with Iran. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen on that particular arena as of yet there. But we'll have to kind of wait and see how that plays out there. But I'm not going to give you any false hope whatsoever. I know that the insiders that I know in Washington are just totally blown away by this, because they have always believed that Trump would be a two-term president. And so they're really taken back by this completely. Although they did say it's not 100%, but after the meeting they were on this morning with the president, that he's not going to pursue anything, because he feels like that it's just not going to come to anything good. And again, though, in my opinion, it's all serving the purpose that these elitists have wanted to do in the beginning. And I told you, that was another thing I said to you guys yesterday. I think maybe me and Yana together were speaking about this. Whatever will give them the worst violence they could bring in this nation to disarm our nation that's who they would put in power. And I said then, if it means Trump getting in, then they'll put Trump in. If it means Biden getting in, then they're going to put Biden in. So there's a lot of things that we have no idea what's going to happen as of next. And so we need to put our mind back on Jesus Christ and stay focused on him, because it's about to be a very, very, very rocky road. And I can't even begin to tell you how rocky that road could end up being. So let's focus on Christ, and let's be in prayer, because we are going to need Jesus Christ more than ever. And I can't tell you enough. Don't get involved. If people are wanting to go out there to do some kind of craziness like that, as far as Civil War stuff like that, don't get involved in that, because it's not good. It's not good at all. Anyway, guys, we'll update you with what we can as we can there. But I wanted to get that information out, because immediately after hearing what I heard this morning from Israeli intel, I have been rapidly trying to find out. In fact, that is the reason why after I did the broadcast on Fact News Network, I moved the video to private. I wanted to share the information initially, but because I didn't fully trust that information, I wanted to put it on private until I could either get it verified or find out what was really going on. So that's the only reason I put it on private, because I didn't know for sure, and I wanted to get that information verified first. Anyway, God bless you. Thank you for listening. I'm Stephen Benoon with Israeli News Live.